Hello, everybody. I'm a practicing therapist and a doctoral student of psychology. Today, I want to talk about the person that avoidance feels like rare. I think like uncommon, rare to an avoidant. And when I mean rare, I mean in a good way. Like they special might be a good way to put it. They find you special. They find this particular person special. And it is very curated to their attachment style. Before we actually talk about it, I want to give the other perspective for those who are anxious so that you guys can understand what this feels like for an avoidant person, okay? A lot of anxious people that, especially if I've had calls with you, you guys tell me this, like a consulting call, you might say something like, I feel like women are, no woman wants to get married anymore. You might say, all men are afraid of commitment. I'm worried about commitment. I feel like, all the guys that I've dated, they never want to commit, right? So you guys have this concept that the person that's rare is a person who's open to committing and is emotionally available. That's your view of what's rare. Like, not necessarily, but I hope you guys are following. Avoidants have a version of like that too. And I want to talk about that with you. So the first one is someone who's like genuinely happy. And this is kind of difficult because you can't be happy all the time. And I would say avoidance really, they're really specific about this, and maybe it's a little bit too much to expect because they, yes, okay, they like someone that's happy. Most people do. But the difficult part is in the relationship, the avoidant almost expects you to be happy even when you have the right to be unhappy about something. And so this can get a little bit difficult, but overall, they really do like people who are genuinely happy or not negative all the time. Avoidants really like people like this because it does show that from their perspective, it shows that you're happy with your life and you're independent and you're not going to drain them of things in their life. That's where this comes from, right? The next one is appreciation of another person's perspective. This doesn't mean that you have to change your perspective. They like that you can appreciate another person's perspective. That's really all that a lot of avoidants like. Appreciation. I want to give an example of what that would sound like because it's not necessarily, oh, I hear you, let me change that. It's more like perhaps you guys have a different idea of breakfast. This is a very random idea, but I'm trying to pick something that's not too triggering, okay? Some people say skipping breakfast because maybe they have to go to work. Some people think you should have breakfast so that you don't overeat during lunch or dinner. Some people might say having a little bit of breakfast is emotionally healthy so you have a habit built in, okay? So let's say those are some of the ideas. Let's say somebody is saying, I think eating a little bit of breakfast is beneficial because it helps you to have energy for the rest of your day. So that's one person, okay? The other person says, I think that breakfast is the last thing on my mind. I need to get out the door. I don't want to be late to work. And I feel like concerning myself with breakfast affects my schedule. And I know I'm going to eat lunch and I'm not hungry anyways. Two perspectives. And so the avoidance perspective, or what would feel rare or special to an avoidant, would be someone who says, I hear your side. I'm a person who likes to eat breakfast. It sounds like you don't. I don't want to change you. You don't have to change me, but we can agree to disagree. We can agree to hear each other's sides. Avoidants really like this because it makes them feel like they're free to be themselves. And eventually, they will be more comfortable adjusting slowly through the relationship. The next one is someone who takes genuine accountability when they do something that is triggering to an avoidant person, okay? So a lot of avoidants have certain triggers that maybe an anxious person does not have. So an example would be a lot of avoidants feel, okay, I'm going to give an example of one that I used to have when I was avoidant, and it's still something I'm struggling with. When somebody asks something of me, it can be a little triggering for me if because of that, they start asking for more, especially right away. The first person I had in mind is actually my mom. My mom is a very anxious person, and she's pretty anxiously attached. And she always, to this day, and she's improving with her anxious attachment, but she is very, she doesn't like how busy I am as a person. Like, she thinks I don't make enough time for her. And in her mind, she wishes that I could see her like every couple days, probably every day. Like, genuinely, she's interesting in that way. And I respect that. And then she's also the type of person that she wants like really long phone calls and things like that. And I'm a very busy person and she doesn't like that because then she can't spend time with me, which I can appreciate. But sometimes what I do is I give in, I try to make time, and then she starts asking for more almost right away. She starts saying, we should do this, we should do that. And then I say, I'm not busy. I'm sorry, I'm busy. And then she gets really, really mad when I set that boundary. And then she kind of crashes out, whatever it is. And she's gotten a lot better, but I'm saying like this is the extreme version of that, okay? And what helps avoidance is when someone says, you're right, I understand that that's a little too much for where you're at right now. Just accountability, I should have been more careful about that. Or I know that that's the way you're like, I'm sorry. Anything like that just helps, because a lot of people think, oh, well, that's normal. When you start hanging out more, you expect more and more time, but that's not how it works for avoidance. Sometimes avoidants need a cool down period. After hanging out, a cool down is like, it helps a lot. It actually makes avoidants appreciate you more, but it's the opposite of how anxious people work. When you see them, you want to see them even more again. And so just genuine accountability for some of the triggers that the avoidant has, okay? The next one is respect who they really are, not who you want them to be. Okay? If you married, I don't know, your husband likes golfing every weekend, they go on a golf trip. Maybe they like riding their motorcycle, I don't know, all around whatever state you're in. I'm in Virginia, so I don't know, up and down some area in Virginia, okay? That's maybe their hobbies. And you married that person. And now you're like, oh, every weekend you're always going out riding, or you're always going on these golf trips with your buddies. I feel like you're neglecting me. That they will feel like, okay, but you married me and you knew I was like this. I can adjust a little bit, but I still want you to respect who I am. So a good way to kind of meet that in the middle, what an avoidant finds is very rare and appealing, is they might like somebody who says, I know that you like golf. I know you like riding, and I know that's the way you are. I can appreciate that. Maybe we can go riding together. Maybe I can join you on your golf trip. Somewhere in the middle to which they feel like you respect them. You can appreciate who they are. And the last one is that you have your own goals and dreams. So everyone's goals and dreams are different. You don't have to be as much of a dreamer as your partner. You don't have to be as goal-oriented as your partner, but just having your own dreams. It can be really small. It can be simple as, this weekend, I want to make cupcakes. It doesn't have to be anything specific. I'm going to go over to my friend's house tomorrow, and we're going to go try and make some drinks together. Having any sort of goal, maybe a dream, a small dream. It can be something so small. It can be like, my dream is that I don't know, I have a pool in my backyard. Anything. It can be something like, I want to grow my hair all the way down to, I don't know, some length, whatever it is. You have a little bit of a goal, you have a little bit of a dream. And the reason why this is helpful is because a lot of times avoidants will feel that you have your own identity and that you're not necessarily needing them to always regulate you. That's really all it is. And so let's go ahead and summarize and we'll wrap it up. What makes someone feel rare to an avoidant? Genuine happiness, appreciation of another person's perspective, accountability, respect for who they really are, able to speak their mind and truth without being judgmental, and has their own dreams. I hope this video is helpful to somebody. Please like, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.